Thanks for that, Mom. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I got to go show property here in a little bit, so it'll be a busy day. Got to go down to Flint, and then I got to show another house over towards Overton here a little bit later on. Nah, I'll be fine. I will, and if y'all need anything, just let me know, okay? Yeah, she's doing good. She's doing real good, actually. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Everybody's good. Looking forward to it. Yes, ma'am. See you later. Bye-bye.
Two decades of severe weather experience here for you when it counts. This is Doc Deason's Weather, live now.
All right, everybody, let's see here. We've got 1022 tornado warning now active for folks who are with us in northern Nacogdoches County, as well as extreme southern sections of Rusk County. Here's the main storm that's kind of responsible for all this. So we're right there southeast of Cushing, along 204. Looks like the best rotation is going to be right in this area here. And this thing moving off to the northeast at about, let's see here, we had a northeast movement at probably 35 to 40 miles an hour, I'm betting. Let's see here. Yep, 30 miles an hour northeast. So that's where the main concern is. So we're talking folks are south of Oak Flat along 204. Of course, 204 comes out of Cushing and dumps out there on 259. North side of Nacogdoches. So those of you there, Central Heights, this will pass north of you, Pleasant Hill, and some of those communities there, right there along 259. Here's what the radar has looked like over the past 35 to 45 minutes. Let me get that moved out of the way a little bit. And there's the storm itself. Again, this is going to pass north of Nacogdoches, so Nacogdoches County in the box, but the city of Nacogdoches outside the polygon. And that'll continue to be the case here as this thing scoots off north and east. Folks, Mount Enterprise, I think this probably passes just to the south of you guys, although you are in the outskirts of that official polygon. This will probably cut just to the south of you, but it won't be by too far. So do be mindful of that. If you've got to head out from Mount Enterprise down towards Nacogdoches here the next 35 to 45 minutes, let's give it some time to kind of pass and make its way out of the area. And we obviously want to avoid vehicles and things like that in a situation like this. Vehicle is not where you want to be in the midst of a tornado warning, especially if we have anything that is able to establish itself on the ground. Looks like I haven't seen anything as far as any kind of sighting from spotters, whether that be from the Weather Service or otherwise. So we're glad for that. But regardless, we want to give this thing plenty of clearance while we're able to get it past, especially that main artery like that. Let's take a look at what the velocity products are looking like here real fast, as we're sitting at 1024 right now. Again, tornado warning for northern Nacogdoches, northwestern Nacogdoches, and southeastern Rusk County. And here's what the velocity product looks like. So there is definitely some decent rotation there, just south east of Cushing. You can see kind of that little pocket. So let's see here. Yeah, that all lines up pretty well right there along 204. So there's a lot of trees in this area. Those of you who have driven this road before, like I have many times, it's hard to get much visibility in this stretch of 204 outside of Cushing. So if you have family that may be, or friends who may be traveling that road, give them a heads up. Let them know they're probably not going to have much of a warning that anything is coming. This is obviously going to continue, though, to scoot over onto the north side of 204, and that'll take it'll take it at least out of commission for that at least that stretch of the highway. A lot of trees and just tall objects between 204 and 259 there. But that's at least what it looks like from the velocity perspective at this time. So we'll put it back on the radar Omega. And folks, Mount Enterprise, you got some heavy rainfall that's moving into Mount Enterprise at this time. And there'll be more where that came from, maybe a little bit of small hail between 204 and 259. But hail has never been a really big concern out of this morning. To begin with, the wind was the overarching concern, and then when you have that, you obviously have to be cautious and thoughtful of the potential for a little bit of tornadic development in there as well, especially with these storms that are able to kind of get themselves going out away from other storms. Once they get into land, it's a little bit more difficult to put tornadoes into position. Outside of the really more or less the smaller ones that can kind of be run up embedded within the line itself, those usually aren't terribly strong, but it doesn't take a strong one to put a tree over on somebody's house or a car, and so we have to be cautious even in those situations. There looks like Weather Service has also put together another warning here, so let's see what we have from that.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
All right, so looks like we'll just take it off of the radar here. How about that? So we'll pull that up. Let's look at the text real quick. So they put northwestern Bossier, so that's Louisiana, southeastern Marion, southeastern Harrison, and Panola counties until 11:15. That's for the storm there. Storms located along a line from Vivian to 7 miles northeast of Carthage, going northeast at 45, so 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and some pennies possible in that. Okay, so that's going to be this little segment, this little line here, which is about on top of Wascom and stretching down south into just the west side of the 79 corridor that goes out of Carthage. So that's moving northeast. More of a wind threat there. Again, once these things kind of begin to line up, the wind threat becomes the more dominant concern in that. So that while we do have Marion County in there in the warning officially, that's the extreme southeastern tip of Marion County. So this is well east of Jefferson. This is east of Marshall and even northeast of Carthage. So good to know that. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning there. Back on the storm, which prompted us to hop into here this morning, and that's this thing that's continuing to move closer to 259. Tornado warning for northern Nacogdoches County. This is not going to include the city of Nacogdoches, okay? Nor does it include the city of Henderson in Rusk County. We're talking that kind of that southern pocket there. And this thing continues to hold itself together. At least it looks pretty strong from a reflectivity standpoint. It's gotten north of 204 now, so we're not as concerned about those folks in that area. But we are putting it right there close to Highway 259, and it'll cross 259 moving off to the northeast and anywhere from 30 to 35 miles an hour. The core of the storm will pass south of Mount Enterprise, but you got good rain in Mount Enterprise right now and points north of that. But maybe a little bit of hail down here on the west side of 259, maybe. Haven't seen a ton of reports of hail so far today, but that's not out of the question. But it is on the lower end of our concern scale if you laid them all out. And so that's something we do want to be mindful of, but not too worried with it, at least at the moment. Further to the south, we got additional storms there on the west side of Nacogdoches proper. Sub-severe along 21 and then out further to the west, heading out towards Crossroads and that area, which is extreme, I guess that'd be extreme western Nacogdoches and kind of the bordering sections of Cherokee County. Back to the west, severe weather is becoming less and less of a concern. A lot of this stuff is going to fire up this morning and it'll sweep off to the east. We've had, marginal dynamics in place, looking to be in place for a couple of days now. The time of day that this thing is occurring is more of a hindrance than a help to severe weather. We don't have the daytime heating to really feed off of like we normally do when we have storms which come through our area late afternoon or even into the evening hours. Once we've had a chance to kind of build that heat up, of course, you boil a pot of water on the stove and you take it off of the stove, it will still have some pretty good convective qualities to it for a short time after you remove the heat from it. The same thing kind of applies to the atmosphere after we've had the chance to set the sun, but the overall intensity will tend to usually wane. But with it being a lower, an earlier time of day, that's a little bit less in the way of an ingredient that we would otherwise have given a few hours later in the day. That's also why Storm Prediction Center has outlined the better severe weather risk further off to the east of us over into Louisiana, and due to that later time frame on arrival. Just going to check in real quick. Weather Service says it's looking a little bit more broad in Nacogdoches County, so that's good. So let's see here. Still got a little hook to it, but we'll switch sources here. So again, this is 259 on the. We're looking at the same piece of the storm, just two different products there. The reflectivity on the right-hand side and the reflectivity on the left-hand side and the velocity on the right-hand side there. All right, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on what looks to be a more conducive environment for storms to fire up as we get further into the morning and afternoon hours. Weather Service is looking at some of the latest analysis, and seems as if we've lost some of the what we call the cap. Which, if you think of a bottle of Coke, they got that cap on top of it. That prevents the stuff inside from spewing out if you were to disturb it, you shake it up real good. But if you loosen that cap just a little bit, you'll start to see the contents spew out, and the same kind of applies when we're looking at thunderstorm development. And that cap aloft, a warm pocket of air aloft, it acts just like that cap does on a bottle of soda, helps to keep the contents kind of suppressed. But as that cap weakens, then we can tend to see some more explosive development of storms. And so it looks as if we're beginning to see signs of that occur, which is not surprising. Again, as we talked about with the time of day and the amount of heating that's applied, that helps the environment to be a little bit more ready to fire off storms. So that's one thing that we're looking at here right now. As far as the storm and its position currently, we're right there along 259 with this best circulation. Again, this is south of Mount Enterprise. You're getting good rain in Mount Enterprise. Same for folks, Lawsonville, Concord. You're starting to see that rain kind of on the northeast side of the supercell. But this stuff will continue to run off to the northeast. And there's a kind of a short loop on what that looks like. But again, we're going to push this well north of Nacogdoches. Let's see here. So as this thing moves up closer to the county line, Weather Service will probably yank Nacogdoches out of the warning here in the next couple of minutes, just because the storm threat has passed. So we'll most likely see that occur here at some point. Things still does seem to be it's acting pretty much as you would expect, though, with that kind of that curved look to it. We'll have some pretty good wind in this thing, regardless, 50 to 60 miles an hour at least, as this thing swings across. Storms back again to the south. This is kind of on the northern end of a complex of storms that's beginning to get itself together on the north and west side of Nacogdoches. And this storm, actually, these storms down north of Nac, very well may end up doing some damage to this supercell up towards Mount Enterprise by cutting off the flow of moisture going into it. So it will be interesting to see how this one to the north reacts to the presence of this guy to the south, and these guys to the south, kind of more of a little complex trying to get itself going. And you can also kind of see some additional showers just kind of blossoming at will back over St. Augustine County and Angelina County. And a lot of this stuff will probably continue to kind of congeal into a larger mass at some point. Back to the north, though, notice it's pretty unimpressive back over Smith County and Wood County, Upshur County. We weren't expecting a whole lot to begin with in these areas, and haven't had too much to write home about either. So that piece of the forecast has panned out. This was one of those things, one of those days where we had a transition to a greater severe weather threat the further south and east you went across East Texas, and especially once you got over into Louisiana. And that seems to be what's transpiring now. Looks like we've just about got the severe weather that had prompted the warning in Marion County. We've gotten that over well into Louisiana now. But these storms back here to the south continue to look relatively organized. So it's pouring in rust, Catherine. Okay, about 6 miles south. Okay, lost some power there too. Okay, thanks for that, Catherine. Thanks for being here today, Nita. Jasmine, as far as the city of Rusk proper, you're looking okay. Just some moderate to heavy rainfall there in the Rusk area at the moment. Jacksonville, that's unfortunately, if you need some rain, that's south of you, and most of us do. Some folks have had some pretty good luck with rain over the past couple of weeks. Jacksonville or Nacogdoches, Lufkin, seen some pretty good rainfall over the past couple of weeks, but we've been missing it the further north that you go, and that's been frustrating. Hey, Dexter, thanks for checking in. Timpson, not much doing Timpson right now. You guys are not inside the box. The polygon here, you can see where Timpson's at. So Timpson outside of that. And as this thing continues moving northeast, this will probably pass just north of you. Doesn't look quite as organized as it did a few scans ago. Doesn't quite have that curved look, that bean shape that we saw earlier. Let's take a look at it on our other source. So still has some rotation there, but it doesn't look quite as impressive just on the reflectivity side as it has, which is good. Carthage got some heavy rainfall on the way, especially the northern half of Carthage, from you guys back up north on 59. All right. Yeah, Mark, not much going on for you guys, Winsboro. I know you could use some rain, but I don't have even much of that for you, unfortunately. The main show and rain is going to be over to the east and southeast of you guys. 1040, coming up on 1041. So tornado warning continues officially for northern Nacogdoches and southeastern Rusk counties, but the main storm circulation looks to be almost completely over into Rusk County now. And this radar loop, this stuff is a couple of minutes old by the time it processes and gets to our location here. So our main area of concern is going to be for this southeastern part of Rusk County. We're talking east of 259. Here's Farmer Market 95. There's Arlem. There's Concord. There's Lawsonville. Northwest of Highway 59. Okay, here's 59 that swings through the extreme southern part of the county there, extreme southeastern part of the county. So if you've got folks in that, in places like Arlem, and there's Caledonia and Concord. So folks along FM 95, south of 84, if there's something there, it's going to be south of 84 and east of 259 now. You bet, Mark. Glad to help, man. So again, we got the velocity on the right-hand side here and the reflectivity on the left. But this little pocket here where we've got winds kind of converging, got those brighter blue. There's going to be something it's going to be riding right in this seat here. But again, no official signs of that from the Weather Service. I know we have a really strong spotter community in Rusk County especially, which is good, particularly in a situation like this. It does get kind of treed up in this area here. All right, 1044, and the tornado warning continuing. And that is going to run until 11 o'clock officially. So Weather Service has noted that this thing is over into Rusk County now. So that takes the concern away from Nacogdoches County. If you're in western part of Panola County, northwestern Panola County, or Shelby County, I should say, and southwestern Panola County, we need to be ready for this thing to come across. This will come across, go north of Timpson. So even though you're not inside of anything yet, wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service went ahead and continued this thing onto the northeast, over northwestern Shelby County and into southwestern Panola County at some point here, if this thing continues to try to maintain the look that it has. But that is something that they'll have to make a determination on. Looking back out a little broader real quick, another good storm there, northwest side of Nacogdoches. Nothing there indicating tornado potential, but probably a little bit of wind. And this stuff, most of it's going to be moving northeast. Yeah, so is that. So this may actually miss most of the city of Nac, or it will miss most of the city of Nac. Not too much cooking into the Lufkin area right now. Ditto that, St. Augustine County, Sabine County, Shelby County. And you got this line trying to get itself going back towards Rusk into Cherokee County. Cherokee County is in the tornado watch box officially. That runs until 4, but this game will be long over before 4 o'clock. So they'll start to peel counties off from the watch after lunch once this stuff kind of settles down, assuming things don't just completely explode over to the west or to the east of us into Louisiana. All right. Stand by 1.
Tornado warning.
All right. Weather Service has gone ahead and extended the tornado warning further downstream, like we kind of figured they would. Southwestern Panola County, southeastern Rusk County, and northwestern Shelby County. That'll go till 11:30. Storm capable of a tornado 7 miles northwest of Garrison or 21 miles north of Nacogdoches, moving northeast at 30. This is, again, a radar indicated situation to continue to have no signs of actual tornadic features on the ground. So that's good. So it's not surprising to see them clip these areas just further downstream. So this will be really close to Concord. So they're saying 7 miles northwest of Garrison, which is going to be right here. So here's Garrison. So we're going northwest of Garrison, which is right there near Concord. And that's moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles an hour. So same forward motion on this thing. You're welcome, Gwen. Glad to help out. So again, radar indicated, nothing having been sighted. There is like I said, a good community of spotters out there in this part of East Texas, and this thing will just clip. We got Shelby County in there, and this will be well north of the city of Center. All right. Just be clipping that. It'll pass north of Timpson as well. There's Timpson right there along 59. So here's Highway 84. This is our area that is going to be most prime for something right in here. Okay. Right there along 84, so a good marker there. Large, well-known landmark. So we've got that where the best circulation is sitting at, and it's moving off northeast. So that lines up real well with this. Okay. FM 95, I'd say we're just east of 95. Right there, just east of the 95-84 intersection. So 10:50 now, the new warning for southwestern Panola, southeastern Rusk, and western Shelby County goes officially until 11:30. They will have cleared Shelby County and Rusk County out of this long before 11:30. I'll tell you that, based on how this thing is moving. Brittany Dangerfield looking okay right now. Not much going on. You guys are on the kind of on the backside of what most of this is going to be as far as rain goes. So again, all of this is really radar indicated. The Weather Service radar in Shreveport was down up until I guess it was last night. They're doing an upgrade on the generator and the backup systems there at the site, so they have to pull those down as part of that update process. Obviously, anytime you're going to work on something, you shut it down before you and unplug it before you start to work on it. And there's a lot of electricity that runs into that radar, so they had it down up until last night as part of a planned kind of upgrade to the system there. So they were able to get it back up. Thankfully, they were. In time to be able to give us some good pictures out of this area for today. So here's Carthage. You guys are in the box on the northeast edge of it. Here's our area of concern down here, north and east of Mount Enterprise. So this is coming up on 84 here as we speak. Mount Enterprise, you guys are good. Y'all are fine. Got some rainfall behind this, but nothing to be concerned with. All right, so 1054. Here's the main area of concern right in here. Okay, that's the storm which prompted the warning. That guy moving northeast at about 30 miles an hour. Let's see here. So as far as estimated arrival times on this thing, you can see those kind of up on the left hand side of the screen there. You can disregard those population numbers in there, but kind of give you a little bit of an idea, kind of a more confined path for this thing, not as wide as the one that the Weather Service gives. It's good to see that, though. So storms now are north of the city of Nacogdoches. Again, most of NAC missed the rain out of that, which for some folks is probably a good thing. Others would like to have some of it. This area has seen a lot more rain than we have across Smith County and Gregg County over the past couple of weeks. There's those storms that are about to exit out over into Louisiana completely that prompted the severe thunderstorm warning for Harrison County as well as Marion County. I haven't seen any severe weather reports out of that. Looking back to the west, not much doing. This line of showers from Linden back over to near Marshall and back down to near Russ is probably going to be the whole show for the remainder of East Texas back to the west. Tyler, our rain, we got some light stuff maybe the next few hours, but there's not a whole lot else coming at us up the stream, and we didn't expect to have a lot of rain to start with. So it kind of is what it is. We've been running a good bit drier. Traditionally, we do run drier, Tyler, Longview, compared to Lufkin, especially during January. It's pretty stark contrast from north to south. So while we haven't had much, we are below normal for the month so far. We don't expect a whole lot out of January for Tyler and Longview to start with. So it's not as big of a surprise, I guess. But again, our warnings continue. This storm now really just about completely over into Panola County now. Sun's out in Bullard, Gwen. All right, thanks. Here's the area of concern from back just to the east of Bryce. If you can kind of make out where this little guy's at right here. So I bet when we look over on the velocity, we'll see something there near 999, and let's see what we have. Yeah. So again, it looks about like it has looked for the last 25, 30 minutes, honestly. Which is good, at least from the standpoint of it hasn't shown signs of strengthening. So I like that. Rainfall back towards Henderson, back down to Gallatin, on over to Rusk, all that stuff really light. We've got a pretty good, what we call a warm sector out here over these southeastern counties. Air mass has got more moisture with it, and because of that, more available energy just to kind of draw from, more gas in the tank, I guess, for lack of a better term. The fact you get back to the west, air mass is going to start to dry out pretty rapidly behind Old Boundary, and we'll see temperatures have a good chance to warm this afternoon as we pull a west wind in here and take this moisture and this ability to crank storms up, push it further off to the east. right, so we've gotten into the 11 o'clock hour here. We've lost at least that one polygon that was still populating down towards Mount Enterprise. We're left with this one storm right here, which is a little pesky, but it's still holding on near FM 8 and FM 999. So there's Lake Merval there. There's Gary, well north of Carthage. Or well south of Carthage, well northwest of Center, I should say. Carthage, it looks like. We'll see. But it is out of Rusk County and just about out of Shelby County, too, for that matter. I understand, Jackie. Yeah, this thing looks a little bit less, maybe a little bit less organized on that newer scan. 591102. There's Gary City right there. Jackie's in Gary City. Says they do not want this. I understand. So we're north of 84, south of 315. This one over here on the left-hand side is a couple minutes newer than the velocity product on the right. So you guys at Timpson, you are A-OK. Center, you guys are fine. Really, the bulk of this is out of Shelby County. I mean, it is out of Shelby County, and wouldn't be surprised if they reconfigure this polygon here in the next couple of minutes because of that. Yeah, it just did. Weather Service canceled Rusk and Shelby County from the warning, so that's good. It's what you would expect. So this red box will reconfigure itself here in a couple of seconds when the new info is passed out of Shreveport up to the satellite and back down to our computers. So, which doesn't take long. There we go. So we'd rather have the smaller box than the bigger box. Heavy showers there east of Marshall, in Marshall actually, and east of Marshall over towards Wascom. In the kind of the back end of that cluster that's heading towards Shreveport. You can see where the radar is, how everything kind of stops all of a sudden there, right over the radome. It'll start to come out the other side here in a bit. So it looks like we do have some kind of, at least we have a wall cloud present with this thing along 999 from spotter there who's on the storm, which is not surprising. Just because you have a wall cloud does not mean you have a tornado, but you do have the at least ingredients for one, and we're not surprised to hear that because of what we saw on the radar. But we do at least have a presentation of a wall cloud along 999 with this storm that'll be right down in here. And that's moving off to the northeast. So again, nothing sighted as far as a tornado goes. Just that wall cloud, the latest thing we've gotten from some trained eyes on the ground, which we're very thankful for those. So this thing's going to pass south. It's just going to pass just south of Carthage, looks like. See folks back up the line, 59 towards Antioch. Just kind of keep that in mind. Along 59, south of Carthage, heading down towards Tenaha. This has been consistently presenting just like this the whole time. Just southwest of Gary City. If there's something there, it's going to be just south of Gary. Southwest of Gary. So coming up on 11:09, or we are at 11:09 right now. It'll be 11:10 here in a few seconds. Tornado warning officially till 11:30 for Panola County. This will be for south. The storm itself, the greatest concern is going to be south central Panola County there, along and just north of 999. We have not had any reports of an actual sighting of a tornado. We have seen at least a funnel cloud, or not a funnel cloud, a wall cloud reported along 999 here within the last 10 minutes or so. Again, does not mean that you have a tornado when you have a wall cloud. That's just more or less the out of the base of that. You could have something move out, and that would be where you would find it at. So we are going to we'll keep an eye on that per se. This thing does not look, it keeps looking like it's becoming a little less organized on the reflectivity product over time, but doesn't necessarily, that doesn't seem to be translating to the velocity product, where it still seems to be maintaining itself at a decent amount. This last scan here looks a little less organized, just on the west side of Gary City. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Harry. All right. So that is what that looks like. Let's take a look real quick, kind of broad brush this again real quick. Showers and maybe a little bit of thunder there down near Timpson, west side of Timpson. I can see a lightning pop there, but this looks like heavy rainfall back down 59, getting on the northwest side of Nacogdoches. Nothing really doing severe weather-wise. Not much doing shower-wise, honestly, further or back out from there in any particular direction. Some showers there arcing down south of Lufkin. Rainfall over Houston County. Lighter stuff the further west you go. Sun's starting to come out here in Tyler now, so we're definitely on the back end of rain. So the Weather Service is keeping an eye on this sort of pocket here from Timpson back down 59. They're keeping an eye on that as well. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have got to step away for an appointment that I have to handle, and I will be posting stuff here as we can through the rest of the day. I won't be able to go live, but we will be able to keep tabs on things and post still images and keep you apprised of what's going on that way. All right. Sometimes the work world will call and we have to handle those obligations, but we will be back in if we need to and if it is allowable this afternoon. But like I said, most of this stuff is going to be done by a few hours after lunch today, and it'll all be a moot point from there. This all gets over into Louisiana. Okay, thanks for being here. It's an honor to have you and to be able to provide some coverage for you guys. We'll be back again posting things as we can throughout the afternoon and the remainder of the morning as we need to, just to keep you apprised on things. All right.
Thanks for watching this live broadcast from Doc Deason's Weather. When weather's at its worst, we're at our best. Doc Deason's Weather, the calm in the storm.